years, I was on a lot of calls where the ask wasn't made. One of them, we had rehearsed it. Here's what I was going to do. Here's what he needed to do. But in the end, he had to be the one that made the ask, not me. I am Dan Moraczewski. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, as well as my wife. We grew up there together. We got married, but shortly after we got married, I made a career change and joined the American Greeting Card Corporation, where I was vice president of marketing and then into my career as vice president of sales. At that point, I took an early retirement at 55. Austin always intrigued me. It was part of my district when I was a district manager in San Antonio, and I loved coming to Austin. So we moved to Austin. And at that point, when I retired, we joined our parish, Emmaus Parish. My wife actually went to work for them in the office, running all the volunteer programs, etc. Then, obviously, there was a diocesan capital campaign. Peter DeCartree was in charge of the campaign, the chair, and Peggy and I were the advanced giving chairs. So I got to know Peter quite a bit during that campaign. We became friends. We did a few things together, and one day we were out golfing and Peter was talking about some things at work, and I said, well, I think I can help you with that. He thanked me. He says, I really need you on my board. And they put me on the board in 2008. In early 2010, John accepted the position with Focus as their vice president of philanthropy. And then that summer, a diocese in Australia, Brisbane, contacted Peter and wanted him to come over and set up their development stewardship program. But with John gone, he didn't have anybody, and he asked me if I would step in and run it. I said, yes, it's just for 3 years. So I took over running Petrus at that point as president and chief operating officer. I ran Petrus for 10 years until Peter and I sold our shares to Andrew. I was really thrown into fundraising. Even on the board of directors, I heard about everything. And I actually went out with Peter on several different things, a couple different calls and stuff, just so I had better information and knew better about how to be a board member. But I was thrown into fundraising almost literally because he had to leave on September 1st to go over to Brisbane. At that point, we had 2 capital campaigns and a lot of other things going on. I was forced to learn a lot quickly, which is probably good. It's not a bad way to learn, although you never learn in depth. Well, my favorite part is still just meeting with people, not only our clients, but also their people that worked with them, the donors, etc. We were at functions, we were at anything that our clients did, we were there. So we met a lot of very good people. It's like making friends. You're very close friends for a couple of years. You don't really have a reason to contact, but you remember all of them, and that's a good part. Most of them were so good. With St. John's in Stillwater, as I got involved with the feasibility study on that capital campaign, I met a couple different people. They were large donors, but then I learned the backstory after about the one donor who had donated $5 million. He was 62 years old at the time. At 54, he lost his job. He wound up buying the company and turned it into a very successful company to the point where he could make a $5 million gift. And so that had to be God. I mean, he was also the deacon for the parish there in town, but he was committed to this campus ministry also. For fundraising, the most important thing is the ask, but you have to be able to identify people. And the number one reason people don't give to a campaign is because that isn't anything they're interested in. And the number two reason, though, is they're not asked. And over the years, I was on a lot of calls where the ask wasn't made. One of them, we had rehearsed it for an hour or so before we went out on it. Here's what I was going to do. Here's what he needed to do. But in the end, he had to be the one that made the ask, not me. And finally, everybody's getting up from the table. And I said, you have to understand, we're here to make an ask. And I just want to ask you to prayerfully consider a $250,000 gift. We prepared an ask letter for him, and I presented it to him. But the other person, he was just going to let us leave with passing that to him as we walked out the door. So you cannot be afraid to make the ask. Throughout life, I've always wanted to, just do a good job. This one pulled my faith into it. So it's extra meaning to do a good job and to do everything I can for our clients. This was the perfect second career for me because I could use my faith, and what it really did was strengthen my faith. Doing this for, I guess, the past 15 years, it's allowed me to strengthen my faith by learning more, and seeing all the young people on the college campuses that are so involved with their faith has really helped.